What's going on, everyone? Desktops Gaming here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little different. Like I said, we have a little kit sent over from FIFINE. Like I said, we got one of their USB mics, the T669 microphone. We're going to be taking a look at today, doing some A and B comparisons between this and my normal lav mic I wear on set. And like I said, just going around to see and kind of answer the question, are USB budget microphones any good? So we're going to dive into that today. So let's get started. All right, so first we're gonna go and unbox everything here. Like I said, we got a pretty good kit here. That's it, going into the box. Let's see, it first looks like we have the user's guide. Looks like some spare parts for the shock mount. A little info card. First thing on the top of the box, looks like it's going to be their included pop filter. Looks like this is really good for, on any microphone kit, for kind of keeping some semblance away from your microphone. And what that is, if you're not in the audio world, basically the pop filters like these, or what they call pop filters, is to try to mitigate against what's called sibilance. That's when your mouth makes P, T, pretty much any sound that makes your lips go back together. Pop filters can kind of help mitigate that moving of air from hitting the diaphragm of the mic, or the part of the mic that actually is picking up the vibrations of your sound. So this can help mitigate against some of that. If you have this in front of your mic and in front of your face, it keeps that extra air from hitting the diaphragm of the mic. So we'll set that to the side real quick. And underneath the first foam insert, it reveals pretty much everything else. And of course, we'll be getting some close-ups of everything as we go along. Let's see, diving into the kit here, we're going to lay everything out. Looks like first thing we have is, of course, the microphone itself. Decently sized little USB mic, definitely not as big as some of the pro audio mics I've worked with in the past. Like I said before, this became a big hobby. I was into some audio recording and stuff like that, so this definitely looks tiny to me, but like I said, we'll definitely see how this smaller diaphragm sounds. So on the microphone itself, you have the diaphragm here. Looks like there is just a single volume knob on the front, and then it has the USB on the bottom here, and we'll go into setting that up here in a little bit when we go into our sound test. We'll set that down. Let's see, looks like we also have, it looks like a mount for the microphone itself, and then it's included a little washer. Looks like we have a shock mount here. This will basically help prevent the microphone from being bumped if it's sitting on, whether it be the boom stand that we'll pull out in a sec, or the little tripod stand. This will help absorb any shock that the microphone could be taking from, say, you bumping your desk while it's sitting on your desk or anything like that. It'll help mitigate any sound from being picked up, any vibrations from being picked up, because this will help absorb those. And see, it looks like we also have the C-clamp for the boom mount. That's what this is. And then moving in, we have another windscreen. This is just a windscreen to help cut down some noise from either breathing nearby it, or any kind of moving sound or air in the room. Can help slow down some of that. We have the USB cable here, and we'll go into setting that up here in a bit. And then last thing in the box, looks like we have the miniature tripod. If you want to just set it on your desk, you can do that. And then we also have the boom arm here. We're going to pull this out. This will mount to the corner of your desk. And like so that way you can have it in front of your face and be able to move it in and out of the way when you're not using it. So like so that helps kind of position it closer to you when you need to use it. Helps you kind of fold it up and put it away when not in use. So it'll mount kind of on the arm like this, and then you're able to move the top of the boom and swivel the bottom to get it in position where you need it. All right, so now that we have everything out, let's go ahead and get the box out of the way. We'll go over how to set some of this stuff up. And of course, it does come with a pretty handy user guide. So we'll go and set this down here. So moving into the user guide, it shows you how to set everything up and how to connect it to your computer. This guide is actually pretty easy. Once you get everything set up, basically just plug it in for a Windows PC anyway. You'd plug it in and it pretty much installs the drivers for you, and we'll dive into how to set up the drivers for recording and everything. We'll be using a third-party DAW, or digital audio workspace, to do our recordings in. So we'll be testing, like I said, the lab mic I normally wear, which is a Boya mic, versus the sound quality of a larger diaphragm mic like this T669. But the guide goes over how to do regular recordings on it just through Windows, and you know how you get it set up as your default recording device. All right, so let's dive into setting everything up here. Let's see, first things first, we'll touch on the mini tripod. So to connect it to this, it has a adapter here that will actually attach to the bottom of the microphone. Like I said, we'll get some close-ups of this going on here, but basically, like I said, the ring part here will go down onto the lip that's on the microphone itself. And then you'll have a little washer here that will attach to the top of this and just screw down onto it to hold that in place. So it'll be setting kind of like this. And then you do have a hinging arm here that has a tension screw on this side, or little nut that will help you lock in. So say if you want it to be held just like this, you would just tighten it down in that position. So you'd have it in place, tighten that down, and it would hold it in whatever position you set. And like I said, if you're just using the desk mount, it would screw on just like this. And we would just put it on a little tripod here and just screw it in until it's tight. That way we could just position the microphone directly in front of us, and it would be set up something like this. So, you know, great if you're doing like a more of a podcast style. Maybe you don't have room on the desk to attach the arm or boom arm or anything like that. You could set it right in front of you. Just plug it in and have it run to your computer like that. So nice to include a little tripod here if you don't have this space, or just say if you want to set it on a table directly in front of someone, and you could speak directly into it. And of course, you could always put the included windscreen on and just put that on top there. Like I said, that way you have a little bit more protection against some mouth sounds, and then you have more protection from air hitting that diaphragm and making those popping sounds. Or if you're, say, maybe in a louder environment, it would help seal out some background noise. All right, next we'll pull this off. We'll dive into setting up the boom arm. So diving into the boom arm, we'll go and take it off the miniature tripod here. Go and close this down where we can unscrew it. We'll set it up on this corner of the desk here, just as an example. Go and take this all the way off. And as far as the boom arm goes, set that aside, it'll be held to your desk by a little C-clamp like this. So on the clamp side itself, you'll unscrew this to drop the little cup down. It'll attach to the underside of your desk. So this side will be facing the bottom of your desk, and the padded side will be gripping the top of the desk to make sure it doesn't scratch the visible part of your desk. And it has a little locking nut here for what the boom actually slides into to hold it in place, say if you want to cinch it down a little tighter where it doesn't swing quite as easy. All right, so we'll go ahead and just mount this on this side of the desk here. We're gonna have to unscrew it enough to fit. And then we'll just go ahead and tighten it to the desk here. All right, so now that that's in place, we'll start working on this side, which is the boom itself. Like I said, it's gonna be sitting on this shaft here, and that's gonna be what's going into the clamp arm. And then you have the actual connector at the top that's gonna be mounting to the mic. So it has another little nut here at the top that'll allow you to position the microphone. So like I said, with these, it actually comes with an adapter to fit the microphone itself on top. So we'll go ahead and screw that in place. So we'll just have that mounted like so, and we'll go and screw the microphone onto it and get the microphone in place. Okay, that's nice and snug now. Just kind of get it worked in place here. We're going to lock everything down kind of where we want it before we stick it onto the C-clamp. All right, and then basically, like I said, this is the end that's going to be sticking itself into the C-clamp itself, so make sure it's loose enough to fit. And just push it into place. Give it a little tighten in, like I said, so we can still move it, but it doesn't move as freely. And then now this way, with it mounted like this, you can bring the mic over closer to you, push it back further away. You can change the positioning of the mic by moving this nut here. And of course you can change it on the clamp that's connected to the mic already and adjust the angle of the microphone itself. So like this, like I said, you can drag the mic closer to you, we can push it away, so that way you can have it directly in front of where you're speaking while it's in use, and it has a full range extension there, so we can have it directly in front of us. Say if we were, streaming or whatever you were doing with this, this would make a pretty good microphone for that. That way, when you're done with it, you can kind of tuck it away, fold it up, put it to the side, wherever it needs to be. So we've got to get a little bit tighter on there. Looks like, there we go. But basically this would allow you to position the microphone wherever you currently need it at, and position the arm out and away from you when not in use. Now you also have the included pop filter here. Now these has another clamp design on it here. So you can unscrew this out, and we'll have to stand up to mount this real quick. But basically you can position this directly in front of the microphone. So we'll go ahead and make sure that everything here is nice and tight, like so. And then the actual clamp mount itself is you can clamp it directly to the tang of the boom arm. All right, so now that we have it fully gripping the stand here, like so you can just bend this to reposition in whichever direction you need it to go. Like I said, putting it in front of the diaphragm or the part that you're actually speaking into on the microphone, like I said, and having it not yay far away from that. So if we have a seat here, we'll go ahead and pull it kind of like we were going to be using it, get it right in front of us there. Like I said, that way we have a little bit of protection against certain mouth sounds such as P's, T's, S's, ones, like I said, anytime your mouth closes, your lips there, you tend to make those sounds. So like I said, we can pretty much bring that right up to us, and that way, like I said, it'll block some of that air that from those sounds make from hitting the diaphragm of the microphone. Now, of course, one thing we didn't mount just yet, and we'll just take this off to move it out of the way real quick, is the shock mount. So we'll go ahead and put that on there real quick. So like I said, just unscrewing the pop filter to get this out of the way. That way you guys can see it putting on the long threads on these. That way you guys can see us putting on the shock mount. So we'll actually just take the microphone back off real quick. So we'll just unscrew, instead of pulling it off the entire thing, we'll just unscrew the nut that's actually holding the microphone onto the device here. So we can hold that in place and just give it a little unscrew. Because the way this is going to work, these actually will replace this arm with the shock mount arm. So we'll just go and unscrew this. And then the microphone is actually going to slip through this part of the mount and come out the bottom here where you plug in the cable. So that would go down in like so. And then we would just thread the bottom thread right back in. That holds the microphone in place. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick to lock this in place. All right. And as you can see, the microphone kind of will bounce in this mount. Like I said, that is it absorbing the shock from being bumped or anything like that. So like I said, if you do bump your desk, say with your leg, like I said, it will keep the vibration from traveling through the mic, which is definitely handy. Let's say if you're live streaming or something like that, or on a call and using this microphone, like I said, you won't have any of that picked up by your other end, or by, it's lessened by your recording software, wherever you're recording to, from any bumps or moving that happen. So we can go ahead and mount that on here. Like I said, and this would just screw the same way we had the other one on, like so. And like I said, that way we could, have this shock mount going, and then keep, any vibrations from getting to the mic itself, from us moving the stand around, or like I said, from anything of bumping and moving the stand, say with your leg, if you hit your desk. All right, so that about wraps up the overview of everything. Let's go ahead and dive into some sound testing. All right, guys, so now that we have it set up on our desk, we're gonna jump back and forth between some audio clips, doing some sound testing between the normal lab mic I wear versus the FIFINE setup here. So we're gonna jump into some audio tests. I'm gonna show you pretty much its plug and play setup, and then we're going to actually dive into some A and B comparisons between the two. So let's go ahead and dive into that. All right, so now that we pretty much position the mic directly in front of us here, we have a little pop filter in place, just set up on the shock arm here. Like I said, we have it set up on the shock mount, mounted to our desk here, just kind of brought it over in front of us. Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stay pretty much at this level of speaking away from it here. So going into setup here, if you were just using this as a generic mic, like I said, if you were to go into open sound settings here, you could change your input device to it'd be under the USB PNP audio device. Like I said, that would be picking up this mic here. Like I said, just simple USB plug-in on the bottom, and then we have it plugged into the back of the computer there. But we're actually going to be testing it in a digital audio workspace or a DAW here. It's just a recording software. But just to go over everything here, like I said, you can see that it's recognizing my headset currently. But like I said, we're going to have it set up to where we're actually going to move it into the DAW itself to record. Now, of course, like I said, just for general purpose use, like I said, you could dive in here and pull up your sound settings. Like I said, you would just set it as your default audio device here. Like I said, not the headset there, but the default, you would set this as your default audio device, and it's already checked there, set as the default one if you were just using it for anything else. But like I said, we're gonna dive into using it in PreSonus Studio One, which is actually the software I use to record stuff with. So as you can see, we're picking up levels here. So we're going to do some A and B comparisons between, like I said, this lav mic and what's going on the T669 FIFINE microphone. So we're gonna go ahead and do some recording and just jump back and forth testing. So as you can see, we're picking up the levels there. Currently, I have the volume rocker on the microphone itself kind of set about halfway up. Of course, like I said, if you were doing this and not putting it into a workspace like this, you could go in and change your settings inside of Windows settings. We'll jump back out of that in a second, but I want to do a quick A and B test. So this would be the lavalier microphone, the one that's clipped to my shirt currently. And this would be speaking into the FIFINE microphone. So like I said, you can hear the sound difference here. You have probably a little more body with this microphone versus what's being picked up off my lav. So we'll jump back to the lav now so you guys can hear how that sounds. That would be, like I said, just the mic that's clipped to my shirt. This is a Boya lav microphone. And then now we'll jump back to the FIFINE microphone, which is right in front of me here. Like I said, pretty easy setup to work with, guys. Like I said, really just a plug and play experience with Windows. So now we'll go ahead and halt this recording. And then, like I said, if you were going to set this up just as a regular interface device, not recording into, because there's a little bit of a difference recording into the DAW that I won't get into today. But say if you were just recording this into anything else, like I said, you want to jump in here, like I said, to your recording devices here, and you can go in and configure a few other things too. So we go into the properties here. You can change your levels of the microphone here, since like I said, that would be what Windows recognizes. And of course, you'd have the gain knob that's on the microphone itself. So you can use that to change it as well. But yeah, I think that about wraps up the audio test. We'll do one more, just kind of speaking into the microphone here. Like I said, I'm sitting, I don't have it super close to my face. I notice this mic is pretty sensitive on the gain knob here, so you may have to play around with that a little bit. Like I said, but I'm sitting, comfortable distanced away, pretty much where I would have it, say if I were streaming or something, pretty much directly in front of my face here. We could probably bring it over, scoot the arm over just a little bit to get it closer to my face, but the main thing you want to worry about is clipping. So you don't want to have it, too close up here, and you do run into, you have to kind of balance the difference between how much gain you'll need to how far it'll be away from your face. But like I said, this is a comfortable distance away. Like I said, you don't need to be super close to it depending on where you have that gain knob. And of course, you can play around with it to adjust that to your room noise as well. So we'll do one more kind of audio test here. All right, so we're going to start recording again. This is coming through the FIFINE T669 microphone. Like I said, that's just the audio picking up through here. And then we'll jump back to my lav microphone. Again, the one clipped to my shirt here, so you can hear the difference. And then we'll jump back into the T669 FIFINE microphone. That's what you're hearing right now. Just a little audio test. Check, check, hello, check, test. go ahead and say some P's and T sounds so you guys can hear the difference there of what the lav microphone picks up as PPP and TTT sounds versus what this microphone from FIFINE picks up the PPP and TTT sounds, so you can hear the semblance difference between the two microphones. All right, guys, but yeah, that about wraps it up on the overview of the FIFINE T669 USB microphone. Like I said, really easy device to work with, pretty much plug and play. Like I said, you see we pretty much just ran it quick. Of course, we would do a little better cable management if we were setting it up long term. Of course, like I said, we can do some future testing on this if you guys want to see it in other applications. But like I said, it pretty much, like I said, with it being a USB microphone, pretty plug and play. Really solid offering for the kit. Like I said, you're getting the boom arm, the pop filter, the microphone itself. You get the wind cover. You get the mini tripod here. So say if you didn't want to set it up on the arm like this and you just wanted to place it on your desk, you could fold out the little mini tripod here, set it in front of you, and just put the microphone on that, maybe put the wind filter over it. If you want to add a little bit of that resistance you would get from this pop filter from different wind sounds and kind of room noise and the sounds, like I said, coming out of your mouth, the siblet sounds we talked about. But yeah, that pretty much goes over everything. If you guys do have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. We'll link to where we got this kit from as well. Big thanks to FIFINE for sending this one over for us to check out. So hopefully you guys can tell, kind of the difference between a mic like this and a USB microphone based off the sound test. Like I said, if you guys do have any other questions, again, like I said, leave them down in the comments below. Check us out on Instagram over at Desktops Gaming if you guys want to see more things we do. We want to do something a little different today with this setup because normally we do PC hardware reviews and stuff like that. But I think, this year, what last year and this year have shown us that more and more people are doing Zoom calls and Zoom meetings. So I mean that would be great for a setup like this if you're relying on a built-in, say microphone on your laptop for work or something like that. Setting something like this up, say if you have such a laptop on your table, you have a little mini tripod here, plop that down in front of you, get way better sound quality versus your coworkers trying to hear you through that. Or if you're getting into streaming, don't want to spend a ton of money up front on a new microphone to sound better than what your headset microphone can do, because like I said, these are, can be great, but like I said, the microphone quality normally not that good on most entry-level gaming headsets. So, just having a way to have something a little larger on body and sound quality compared to your gaming headset, definitely a good recommendation for getting away from that audio level to something that's going to sound a lot better, be a lot more clear. Especially if you're trying to attract an audience, you want something that sounds really good because audio is half of any video you decide to do. Check out, so that about wraps it up. Like I said, check us out over on Instagram at Desktops Gaming. Next projects we're working on here, we're waiting on a little mini PC to come in from Minutes Forum. That should be here soon. We still have the 3070 versus 2070 Super kind of blowouts. We've got some more testing to do on that. If you guys want to see, just the generational gap difference between the previous 70 series and the current 70 series from NVIDIA, let me know in the comments below if you guys have been lucky to get one. Like I said, we lucked out super hard on getting that 3070 from EVGA. Like I said, just happened to hit it at the right time. Honestly, that's the only piece of advice I can give you guys. It's just, you kind of have to get lucky, and it sucks, I know. Like I said, we were wanting a 3080, but we were able to come across that one. But I'm rambling now, so we'll go and close this video out. Again, we'll leave links in the description to check out the T669 from FIFINE, so you guys can go see all the kit offerings for yourself. Again, overall solid kit, and hopefully you guys can tell by the sound test. I do appreciate you guys stopping by though today. Again, we'll leave all those links in the description, but I appreciate you guys stopping by. Take it easy.